मामेच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेभ्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Am I to follow the form worship or formless worship? This is what Arjuna asked. And Krishna says form worship is difficult. Formless worship is more difficult. Adhigataraha kleshaha. Yes. This is even more difficult to this is. Oh, if it is so difficult, let's leave, no? You yourself say it is so difficult. So what does it? Let us see, is there any faster, quicker, easier route? Alternative. Can we look out for an alternative path? To which he says, there is no alternative here. You have no other choice here. If you say that I want to grow, if you are expecting moksha, then there is only one method. There is no other way. You can keep going to pilgrimages, you can keep going to be performing this ritual, you can perform that ritual, you can do, I'm going to practice pranayama, you can do, and you can try this technique, you can try that technique, you can try any technique. These people are very clear in that one point. The only way to jnanat evatu kaivalyam. If you want to get moksha, mukti, liberation, the only way is jnanam. That is what he refers as formless worship. So what is that jnana yoga? You people know. You are all familiar with all that. In fact, you can speak better than me. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Jnana yoga. What is jnana yoga? Jnana yoga means Shravanam, followed by Mananam, followed by Nididhyasana. Listen, reflect, contemplate. Through listening, through reflection, through contemplation, on what? On the formless, you get moksha. There is no other method. Why? Liberation from samsara. If you want to get rid of samsara, you have to know what has caused samsara. Define that first. Sir, I want to get liberated. Liberation from what? Liberation from samsara. Liberation from my, yes. Liberation from samsara, then you have to go into what has caused that samsara. So once you remove the cause, effect gets removed automatically. That's the only way. So what has caused your samsara? Ignorance is the cause of samsara. If ignorance is the cause, then solution is what? Knowledge alone can be a solution. Right? Don't say, Eswaran, why are you so fanatic? The problem is this. You think, when you say that's the only method, we think, oh, you are very fanatic about your things. You should not be fanatic. You should be open. How to remove darkness in the room? Be open. Switch on the fan. Why are you saying only light? Switch on the light is only method. Huh? No. We will switch on the fan. We'll bring air freshener. We'll start blowing. Let's start sweeping. That's also method. No. Of all that, you can say one of that method is what? Switch on the light also. That is okay. Then you are intellectual. Suppose if you say only way to remove darkness in the room is to switch on the light, he is fanatic. Dayana Saraswati would say beautifully, I'd rather be a fanatic than a lunatic. This is lunacy, he'll say. To say, I'm going to sweep for darkness to go on. Lunacy, that is. It's not being liberal. If knowledge is the only solution, why we say knowledge is the only solution? Because the problem is due to ignorance. So first we establish that. See, unless you establish the cause of samsara, you can never find a solution. So what is the cause? That we establish. And then we say, what is samsara? Is where we start our reasoning. There are very many angles. Okay. Very many ways of understanding what is it. One of the things is, samsara is nothing but the problem that I encounter. The fundamental problem of life. Fundamental confusion about myself. Two things we are all very clear about. We have a problem only on the third dimension. The first two aspects are very clear. Do you have any problem that you are existing? Do you have a doubt? If you have a doubt, don't ask me. At least. Do I exist? This doubt does any one of us have? No. Does any one of us have that doubt that you are a conscious being? That also there's no doubt. So none of us have a problem with reference to these two aspects. right? That I exist and I am a conscious being, right? How do you know that you are a conscious being is self-evident to you, isn't it? Have you ever doubted? You never have a doubt on that. So you say, I exist, there is no problem. I am conscious, there is no problem. The only problem we have is what is the manner in which I exist. You see, I am there and I am conscious. But only problem is my nature Ananda Swarupa or not is where the problem is. You see, our essential problem is what? Am I a blissful being? Doesn't seem to be. Because sometimes I'm happy, many times I'm unhappy. But I am conscious of happiness, I am conscious of unhappiness also. And I am going through all that. There is no doubt about these two aspects. I exist and I am conscious of. There's no problem with these two. The problem that all of us have is, what is my real position with reference to happiness or unhappiness? Is there a possibility? This is where the whole understanding of us comes in. You say, I am liberated when I say, I go beyond this doubt. Because this doubt, this ignorance of my real nature, which is Ananda, because we don't have a problem with Sat and Chit. Sat and Chit, all of us know. At least intuitively you know. All the doubt we have is about our Ananda Swarupa is where the problem is. Am I of this or that? That ignorance is causing our dependency on the world. So I believe something from the world is going to give me that happiness, sukham, peace, bliss. So all my life I am subjecting myself to be dependent on the external. That dependency on the external is called a samsara. You are dependent on the world for what? You are not dependent on the world to say you exist. You are not dependent on the world to say you are a conscious being. Isn't it? But you are totally dependent on the world to experience Ananda. Correct. Isn't it? Liberation is what? Removing the dependency is called liberation. Why are you dependent? That's where this knowledge comes in. Says because of you don't understand your original nature. That ignorance of your original nature is the cause for you to believe that I have to be dependent on the world for my Ananda. So for you to get what you have to do, go out. Say, no. Not necessary. Because Ananda is your natural state, your original state, which you do not know now. The moment you get to know that, what will happen? Your dependency on the world for happiness gets deleted automatic. That's called liberation. Now go back to the principle. What is the best method, sir? There's no such thing called best method. There is only best you can discuss, which is a better one. You can discuss only when there is an alternative. Is there an alternative? According to the Shastras, they say there is no other method. There is only one way. Why? Because the cause is ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of your real nature. Ignorance of your real nature means which dimension? None of us have a problem with reference to Sat dimension and Chit dimension. Samsaric problem is not Sat. Samsaric problem is not Chit. Samsaric problem is what, sir? Ananda. The third dimension is where all of us experience samsara. So therefore, what you have to do, gain the knowledge of your original nature, which is Ananda Swarupa. The moment you get that bliss, which is your original nature, now you can do all that, standard coil spring, compress, pressure, release, release, release. Why there is no pressure? Why there is no pressure? Because it has reached its original position. Same way, those who have understood their real nature, those who have gained that knowledge of their real nature, have no pressure. Now we go back to the question of what? How am I to gain that knowledge? There Krishna comes and says, that is adhikatara, klesha. That is a greater difficulty only. Doing the form worship is little, compared to this, that is little easier. Right? Whereas, oh, can I start that? No, that is also difficult. That is also difficult. But this is greater difficulty. So when he says greater difficulty, he is not saying that with the idea of this. Then Krishna himself explains to whom it is difficult. Right? It's not that he's just saying difficulty and walking out. No, it is difficult for whom?
So you mentioned we are able to relate to Sat and Chit. It is Ananda where we have difficulty. But if we are really able to relate to the idea of Sat and Chit, then there shouldn't be any difficulty with Ananda.
No, I'm saying you are having a problem only with reference to from where the source of your Ananda is what? Only that problem we have. See, none of us have that. That's why I said, have you ever questioned, do I exist? You have questioned why I exist. That is possible. Correct? Has any one of us, we have doubted whether God is there or not? Does God exist? No one stands up and asks, sir, do I exist? Imagine someone asks you, have I woken up? Imagine a fellow sleeping, he wakes up and he's asking you, have I woken up? You woken up. Are you mad, you ask, isn't it? Because that is obvious fact, isn't it? Similarly, are you a conscious being or like a table? Are you like this? Have you ever doubted? Am I a conscious being or a non-conscious being? I doubt that. How can you doubt that? How can you ask a question there? There we don't have a problem. So all of us have a very clear understanding that I exist. Whether permanent, temporary, Allah is a different thing. So as long as I am alive, I exist. No, those analyses we'll do later. But when we are having a life, when you are alive, we have no doubts with reference to these two aspects. All of us have doubt only with reference to I feel unhappiness is normal. Happiness is the one once in a while comes and goes. Isn't it? Most of the time, if you see our life, how is it, sir? Stress, pressure, pain, all that is there. Suffering, misery, whatever words you want to use. All that is there. In between, we are getting some taste of some pleasure. Like they give the example of this man who runs to escape a tiger. He goes and climbs a tree. And he, in a hurry, he goes and sits on a branch, which is so weak. In the sight of a river. And in the river, there is a crocodile. And in the hurry, that fellow disturbed the honeybee hive. And they're all stinging. And he looks down, he sees there is one rat that is coming and eating the roots of the tree. With all that, what is he doing? He is stretching his tongue out to taste the drops falling from the tree. No, that's human life. Very negative side. But it's true, no? Isn't it? It's true. You can't say it is false. Don't say you are pessimistic, sir. You are looking at life in a very pessimistic way. Now, nothing can be done. I say, yeah, correct. When you go to a doctor, the doctor says, you are having cancer. Why are you looking at it very pessimistically? Talk optimism. Yeah. He'll say, you have come to a wrong department. Isn't it? This is the reality of life. If you see the moments of stress in your life, the moments of joy in your life, compare. Even if you say, sir, in my life, the moments of joy is more, moments of sorrow is less. The question we ask is, are you contented with that? Are you willing to take that as a fact? No, we are not willing to accept that as a fact. We are resisting that. What is that we want? What is that we believe? We all believe that we are cut out for what? Uninterrupted, continuous peak of joy. Not building up. Slowly it gets, added, whether it is geometry progression or arithmetic progression. No, I want straight to the peak. And I should be in that peak for, that is what I am cut out for, is what all of us believe. Now the question comes is, your belief is one, but the reality is something else. Now, which is what that disparity is, what we call as samsara. Samsara doesn't mean you are getting married. Wife is called samsara, sir. You are wedded to what? Samsara. You are wedded to this disparity. You are locked. Can you get a release from this position. Why are you locked here? Vedanta says you are locked here because you are ignorant of your original nature, which is infinite bliss. Since your original nature is infinite bliss, that accounts for us non accepting the fluctuation. Uncompromised demand for bliss, uninterrupted bliss that we are expecting. We believe we are deserving to live life like that. From where that belief comes? It's where Vedanta comes as it comes from your original nature, which is infinite bliss. But unfortunately, you do not know that. Since you don't know that, when we say you don't know that, that means you don't understand it. Because I have already told you, your original nature is infinite bliss. By now, all your problems will be resolved. Has it? How many times you have heard that? Forget about you hearing it. How many times I have said that? All my problems should have been resolved by now. Doesn't happen. Why? That's where they say greater difficulty. The greater difficulty is what? Is not to know. Knowing here means understanding. Understanding means conviction. Conviction is like, should be like what? How much ever people around you were to say, you are not a conscious being, you will say what? For us, you don't exist. If somebody says, you will say what? That's your problem. Correct? You will never have that doubt. You will never ask for endorsement from others. You will not want anybody to believe that you exist. I exist is obvious to me, self-evident to me. Isn't it? Swayam Prakasha, they say. Atma. What is Atma? Swayam Prakasha. It is self-illuminating. I know that I exist. I know that I am a conscious being. I am not saying intelligent being. Okay. Even if you say that you are more intelligent than my intelligence and all that also, fundamentally, no, none of us will take a stand saying you are not an intelligent being. Isn't it? Why? Non-intelligence means it should be inert. Are you inert? How is it possible for you? So you are, such conviction you have. How much ever people can challenge, whoever comes and challenges this, whoever denies that, you will say what? You are wrong. Like that, do you have a conviction that your original nature is infinite bliss? How you get into that conviction? Conviction comes only when you understand something. How do you get that understanding? For all understanding, for you to get, there is a specific process of study, reflection. That is the only way. You cannot say, I will go and keep washing the feet of the Guru. I will get knowledge one day. I will get understanding one day. One day the Guru will touch me. And in that touch, I will get that. It doesn't happen like that. If you have an ignorance of physics, what do you have to do? You have to study physics only. That's important. Isn't it? You cannot study chemistry and become an expert in physics. That's not possible. You cannot be studying economics and become an expert in mathematics. No. Similarly, if you have to understand your nature, you have to study your nature only. Atma Swarupa is what you have to investigate. If you have to investigate that Swarupa of Atma, which has no form, it's difficult. And the equipment, what is the difficulty I'm explaining now? Follow carefully now. The equipment that we are employing to understand is intellect, buddhi. Right? All investigations, analysis, reasoning, everything is done by this equipment called intellect. Intellect by nature objectifies everything and understands. Right? It has to objectify it. Only through objectification, intellect can process. The problem here is the subject of investigation here is the subject. The field of investigation can never be objectified. Why? Because it is the subject that is to be investigated here. The only option we have is intellect, and then by default, intellect can process everything only by objectifying. But here, the subject of inquiry is the subject, which can never be objectified. Now you read, greater is the difficulty. Correct, Dana? Isn't it? You can say, no, sir, it's easy. You should understand why it is difficult. Why he is saying this is more difficult. For which, first we need to understand form worship is difficult. Right? Krishna is not saying formless worship is difficult. Krishna says form worship is difficult, formless worship is more difficult. Now all of us think form worship is easy, sir. All that you have to do is what? Go to the temple and do puja. Come back. That's all it is. Go to the altar and do abhishekam. You know, the rituals they do, no? Argyam, Padyam, I'm going to give. How can you give Argyam, Padyam? You know, they give that. You see, they'll take one spoon and they pour. Argyam, Padyam means you are giving water to wash your hands first. And then Padyam is to wash your feet. So when somebody comes, now after Corona, everybody understands that. Before Corona, when we say, that's a ritual. Every ritual, every puja when you do, you give all that. And then Achamani. And then you give water for him to wash his mouth. So, anyone who comes, even if it were to be God who is coming home, what is he supposed to do? Wash his hands, wash his feet, wash his mouth. After that only we give him all other things. We invoke, no? We invite God. So when you are inviting God, when you are inviting him, he is coming. So in his coming, they do it. And most of us don't understand what we are doing. Simply take one spoon and pour, you take one spoon and pour, you take one spoon and pour. But what are you doing? Now you are asking him to, you are washing his hands, washing his feet, then rinsing his mouth. Don't say immediately, oh, that time itself they have understood coronavirus will come. That you can do for form. Formless, okay, what will you do? Formless worship. Formless. Suppose if you say God is formless, now how can you give Argyam Padhyam? Which hand you will give? Even if it is Vishwarupa, many hands are there, you can give so much of water. Many hands to be washed. You can give still. More water can be given. If it is Chaturbuja Vishnu, you have to wash four. If it is Krishna with only two hands, then there's no problem. But that is easier. Even Vishwarupa, also there's no problem because you need more water. You give more water. That's all it is. Only quantity increases. But the moment you say he is there without a form, what will you do? You know, this is where the difficulty is. Suddenly your ability to connect, even to connect to form itself is difficult. Formless is much more difficult. Why we say much more difficult is 2 points we need to remember here. One, the equipment that we are employing. Second point is who is engaging that equipment. Right? That qualification is necessary. Dehavadbihi says, embodied. For the embodied here means not one who is alive. Okay, don't take it as a person who is alive. Embodied here means the one who is totally body conscious. A person, everything is physical. Body means including gross body, subtle body, causal body. The whole thing. In that, the grossest aspect is the physical body. So wherever he goes, he thinks constantly with reference to his physical. To such a person, formless worship is so difficult. That doesn't mean not qualified. See that? That doesn't mean you should not. Sir, one fellow says, you had been to this Kailash Yatra, Manasarovar. You have been there and you come back and you tell this person, you had been there, and you show the pictures and you do this. And he also says, oh, I would love to go there. What we should do? What will you tell him? That's very easy. All that you have to do is just enroll. No. What do you tell him? You see, the oxygen there drops. Walking, walking here 5 kilometers, there 500 meters, you will get tired. Climbing there, not easy. The cold that you experience, what you see there is very different. The freshness you see is so difficult it is. So you will explain to him what? You will not be telling him, remember, to whom you say all this? To whom you say, speak all these things? Example. You have been to Kailash Manasarovar. You have come back. You are telling that to everyone. What will you tell everyone? You have been, no? You have come back, right? The fact that you are sitting. After you came back, what did you tell everyone?
the difference.
That's the first thing you said, is it? You know how difficult it is, such a problem it is. First thing you tell is what?
Yeah, excellent.
I caught that Manasarovar, you know, sit there. I saw two people walking there. I'm Paityam, right? He's not going to come into your, eyes. I saw Shiva coming and taking a dip in that Manasarovar. Something like that you will say, right? Or else you will talk about the nature, nature's beauty there. The sunset and the full moon. We are there in the night. That full moon and that moonlight reflecting on that Kailash, that colors, what a beauty, what a beauty. This is the first thing you tell him. And then that fellow says what? Is it? I'd like to go. After that, what you will start? The moment he says, I want to go, you will switch gear. After that, you will never speak about what is the beauty of it. All the beauty will go. Now what will come? Now all the difficulties will come. Not easy. Yeah, you have to apply very early. And, you have to get your, doctor fitness certificate. You know that, no? So fitness certificate means, even after having fitness certificate, you will be called for a training. I know they do all that now. Earlier they used to do that. And sometimes, they would take a chopper, you go land and come back. Okay. Have to go the fitness, you have to get there, and then you have to be having so much of this and so much of problem. You will start listing out what all the problems, what all the difficulties. Why are you listing out all that? Out of that. Wow. Easy. So when Krishna says greater difficulty, why he is saying that is, when you are coming into this path, be prepared. Don't come in without proper preparation. It's not easy. So the whole idea is for what? Be ready for extra effort. That's what it means. Preparation means what? Preparation means when you come there, it will demand a lot from you. So when it is demanding more from you, you should be willing to put in that extra effort. Before you put in that extra effort, you should have processed the qualification. So necessary qualifications you get. Even if you have the necessary qualifications, with those qualifications, when you come there, you have to put in extra. See, getting into IIM is not easy. You have to pass the entrance, then group discussion, then interview. After that, I can relax. No. After that only your effort will start. Correct? After that only problem starts. Before that, yes. But to put in that greater effort, you should be preparing yourself. So what are all implied here? Implications is be qualified, go through that necessary qualifications, plus be ready to put in that extra effort. Therefore, he says greater effort, greater difficulty. There things is more. You are qualified. But even if you are qualified, imagine a person who has passed 8th standard. If he is a good student, you put him in the 9th standard, you give him the 9th standard syllabus, he will be cherishing. It's difficult. You see that? It's difficult. A good student will enjoy the challenge. Right? Suppose if you give him 12th standard, what will happen? That's also difficult. But 12th standard syllabus for the person who has just passed 8th standard, to him 12th standard syllabus is what? Okay? I'll give you a third scenario now. You put him in the 5th standard class. He has passed 8th standard. Put him in 5th standard. Now tell me which is greater difficulty. There are 3 cases I've given you. 8th standard pass, child, put him in 9th standard, put him in 12th standard, put him in 5th standard. Where he will feel, which will be more difficult for him?
Sure.
This will also be difficult, but in a different way.
5th will be appearing easy, but highly. I told you the condition. I told you he is a good student. Okay?
Really
Not like all of us.
frustrating for him.
In the class, how he will feel in the class? Ask him to go and sit in the class and listen carefully. Take notes. Imagine the teacher says, take notes. What he will say? I'm giving you homework. Before they complete the problem, he would have finished the... What is he going to do there? Greater is the difficulty. There's another way people look at it. They say, actually what Krishna says is, the formless worship is like putting the person in the 5th standard when he has already attuned to 8th standard. You see that? Form worship I have done. I have passed. I have come there. Now you put me in formless. Na? They say it's not upgradation, man. It is degrading. You're putting me in the lower class. Formless is lower. Even more difficult. Same way, 12th standard also is going to be what? More difficult. Both are going to be difficult. What is his position? The formless worshipper's position is, he is, one hand, it will appear like 5th standard. On the other hand, it will appear like 12th standard. One hand, it will appear like so easy. No effort. Because for all of us, effort involves what? Work, karma. So karma is a problem. So once that is there, like a lot of us believe, once money is there, everything can be resolved. Fundamental problem, you know what? There's no money. Once money is there, then everything can be settled. Correct. That's a belief. Same way here, the belief is what? Karma is difficult. Giving advice la romba easy, sir. Everybody gives advice. That's free. Giving thoughts is very easy. What is the problem? Particularly when it comes to life. Advising you to do business is not a problem. Difficult. But advising you how to manage your life, everybody can give advice. And everybody can talk about Vedanta. It's my standard question I ask every time I go for introduction. How many of you know Vedanta? Nobody will raise their hands. Then I ask them, how many of you know life? Everybody, of course, I'm living. How many of you have given advice to at least one person in your life? Everybody has done. Which means what? Vedanta means knowledge of life and living, which you have already. Then why do you call me? Then you're all experts here. On one hand, we believe it is. Thoughts are very easy, sir. Giving money is the difficulty. Giving ideas are very easy. I think, you should do that, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this. Ideas are, you'll keep on generating ideas. Difficulty is where. So for all of us, effort means karma. Right? He says, that is not difficult. That's difficult, I know. But thinking is far more difficult than karma. Tuning your thinking is more complex and more difficult than learning to perform action properly. See, practicing karma is easy. This is more difficult. So the problem with reference to this formless is difficulty here is beginning is so simple. You can begin, but you can't stay there. They say Jnana Yoga or this formless worship is compared to barefoot walking on tar road. Summer. Not English summer. Chennai summer. On tar road, you have to. Walking is slightly easier. Standing is. Walking itself is difficult. Right? Standing is formless worship. Form worship. If you forget all this, at least this you will remember.
Better form worship.
Form worship is, sir, I think we all go to form worship, sir. He says, if you have to prepare, it is difficult. Yes. Which is difficult? Form worship is difficult. Remember that. Don't say formless is difficult. Form worship is difficult. Bhakti is difficult, according to Krishna. We think bhakti is the easy, sir. Easiest path. Of all the things, easiest one to do is what? Bhakti. Surrender. Yeah. It's no, not easy, man. For this, he gives, for you to prepare, he gives the steps. 5 steps he gives. That's the next portion. This 6, 7, and 8. You can take 8 also. 1 step. In fact, 6 and 7 summary. There are 2 ways they teach in the scriptures. One, they reason and conclude, or they declare and then give explanation. There are 2 styles you will find. Some places derive someplace. Derivation, reasoning first, conclusion. Establishing is state, explain. So first they make the statement. So first what he is doing is he is giving the general. Then he starts splitting that into steps. First overall picture. Then he gives the steps. And in the steps he puts it across so beautifully. Now this is where you see, how he sticks to the tradition. Krishna. Traditionally, method is first always they give the highest. First advice given is the highest. Then they say, if that is not possible for you, do this. So fifth step, or here the first step is the fifth step. Okay. So he gives first this, do this. This is the method. You say, you yourself said greater difficulty. Now no chance. Okay, do this. 4. This is also difficult. Alternate. Every alternate when he is giving, he is coming down. Remember, he is coming down to our level. First, he gives the highest and says, you come up to that height. We say not possible. So he says, okay, I will come one step down. Compromise. One step. You say third also, he gives the second step. Do this. And he knows Indian mentality. Right? After knowing this, is there anything easier than this? Last we always ask, no? After deciding this is what we are going to buy, you keep it aside. Is there any other design you have? Say, you have decided no. Then why do you want to? Just like that we ask no. Like that we also ask. So Krishna gives one more step. Do this. After that, if you ask, this is also not possible. Nah? He's not saying anything. Understood is what? Better luck next time. Hey, Aneka Janma, he himself has mentioned it. Don't worry. Aneka Janma is there, you'll come back. That steps, how he brings every step. One by one he brings beautiful analysis. One of the best in the Gita. There are a few portions in the Bhagavad Gita. Like in the second chapter, Sthita Prajna portion. And the fourth chapter have the 12 yajnas. How you can convert any of your activities into worship. The 12 yajna portion in the fourth chapter. Another outstanding piece. Next one is this. The progressive steps that he is giving for us as to how you can move from one to another. So 6 and 7 he gives the bird's eye view of what the path is, and then he gives the highest one step. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 steps. 6 and 7 total. So this is the portion now. 6 to 12. Verse 6 to 12, this is how the idea progresses. Now when we go there, I'll explain what that steps are. Okay. So first we will see what is the general method. Overall, what is to be done. Verse 6 and 7 together.
This,
Yes. One second.
so this gradation of methods, given, give that best as the first,
Yes.
is to cater to the best student first, or when you
Yes.
say logic in that?
Yeah. Generally, what they do is they always give the highest so that the student should know what is the highest first. They assume that, number one. Number two, what we have to recognize is for all of us, spelling for your name is easiest one, isn't it? Direction to your house is easiest for you. But for a new person, but the point is, since it is too obvious to you, we assume what? Anything which we know, we assume what? It's easy for everyone. Second. Third one is, as far as the teacher is concerned, he sees everybody as Brahman. For him, it is all that you have to understand is what your original nature is. This what's the difficulty? It'll be like that. It's a matter of fact, and they see you equal to them. Then comes the gradation in the students. The fourth point is that point where you say, assuming that there are various levels of students in the same classroom, who should we cater to first? Like in the medical, things, they use the word, triage principle. Right? In any emergencies, they use a principle. That is, the possibility of saving were to be more with one life than the other, they attend to that person first. Now, you can't argue with the doctor saying, oh, life is life. No. Isn't it? No. They have a rule. First, attend to a patient in emergency, a possibility to be saved. If chances are more, if they believe, okay, it is according to their calculations. What if their calculations is wrong? If you ask, we can't do anything. Right? Then don't go to the doctor. Then you should have gone to some other place. Right? So you can't ask that. As we take it for granted that their calculation is correct. According to their calculations, this life can be saved. More percentage than this. First attend that and then come this. Similarly, the person who is very close to realization, he should be attended to first, as per the standards of the gurus. So they give first advice of theirs always will be the most ideal one. That's why every time when you go and ask advice to a guru, we should be cautious. If he says something and you say, okay, and you come out, he assumes what? You have to know your level. And say, that's difficult. You don't have to say that. If you keep standing there is enough. They know. This is method of teaching. You give the highest first. Then you go to the next. 6 and 7.
Etu sarvani karmani
Myi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam vyayanta upasate sarvani karmani myi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena
ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता
मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ
मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्
तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ
मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्.
But those who worship me, renouncing all actions in me, regarding me as supreme, meditating on me with single pointed yoga. Verse 6. I'm just reading the meaning. Right. For those whose minds are set on me, I become erelong, O Partha, the deliverer from the ocean of death-bound samsara, the mundane existence. So the agenda he sets very clear. The purpose or the fruit, the phala. What is that? Deliverance from samsara. So that is the agenda. But for that, what is the student is expected to do? He says first he is supposed to do these things. He gives the conditions. What are the conditions? Yes. Those. Now, here the word is very important here. The word tu. But. Now what is that but referring to? No. Tu. Etu sarvani. Etu. Those. But those who. But those people means those who cannot take that risk. Like we saw in the last class. Staking your life for the sake of God. Can you do that? Yes, sir. Not possible. Then I am giving all this. Those who cannot do that, but those who cannot afford to take that position, for them I am going to give this. For them, what are this? Which means if you are not having the priority for God, what does it mean?
The worldly.
Your priorities are somewhere else. That's all it means. Right. All that he says is, all this advice, whatever I'm going to give now, but those, which means those who cannot attune to that formless worship directly, those who are not having that necessary qualifications for that directly, for those people, I'm speaking all this now. Who are those fellows? They are the people who are attempting to do something which is an impossibility. What are they attempting? They attempt to serve two masters. Satan and God cannot be served. Either you serve God or you serve Satan. That's all it is. You can't be serving. Now, what we want? I want to be worldly. Also, I want to be spiritual. I want to be spiritually worldly, sir. No chance. Either be spiritual wherever you are, whatever you do, or you be mundane wherever you are, whatever you do. That's the option in life. Life has no other, there is no middle path in these aspects. Either you are mundane or you are spiritual. No matter where you are, what you do, what is your position, what is your status, what is your engagement. Because for all of us, we decide all these things based on what a person is engaged in. Oh, you're teaching Bhagavad Gita, then you are a spiritual person. So my occupation decides whether I am spiritual or not. Huh? No, that's not the point here. Remember, it's not your occupation. It's not the station. Oh, he's a great person, sir. Why is a great person? Sir, you have a local temple is here, no? There's a priest in this temple. Similarly, Tirupati also there is God, priest. Will you treat both priests equal? Huh? பெரிய கோயில் சார். Big temple. Big temple means what? Big priest. Small temple means small priest. Street corner temple means. So, how you define a person? See, very interesting to observe all this. On what basis you decide? We equate all these things. This is how we decide about a person in the world, no? Oh, he's a managing director. What? A small, small scale industry. I remember once, we had an appointment with one fellow, MD, for seminar in Pina. So we went from here only, this house. I was here at that time. So I went in that Kennedy Honda, Pina, Pona. Go there. Some industries, the name was given to us, and they got the called and they said, yeah, come. I was so happy, the fellow called. I go there, Pina. Patra. I don't know what you call that. Ironsmith? Steel patra, that is. Ironmonger. There's an ironmonger. And the fellow sitting there with the lungi. He has tied that lungi. And he was so happy. Somebody called him to ask him, can I come and meet you? So he said, please come. His name is there in that, list. Managing director.
You gave him money.
It's like he was so excited, Somebody has come to meet him, This managing director, can we say he is equal to ABB, MD? Can we say both are equal? No. Same way we see this person also. But, oh, that mutt is a bigger mutt. So we give more sanctity and more divinity we assign to that person. Is it not? We assign less divinity and less sanctity to this person. Why? Because this is a small temple, this is a small mutt, this is a small ashram, that's a big ashram, big mutt, big temple. This is called mundane thinking. Wherever you are mundane, remember. If you are spiritual, wherever you are, you will be spiritual. The way you speak to that Patra fellow is the same way you will speak to the ABB MD also. Same way when I say, if I am speaking with him in a respectful manner, is the same respect I will be giving to this person also. That's it. That doesn't mean you go there and say, useless fellow, wasting my time, you idiot, you should have told me. No. And you'll be surprised. He was feeling so sorry that he couldn't participate in the program. Sir, I'll come for the lectures. He came for the lectures. Gita lecture, he came. He was so shocked. He said, superb fellow. I was, really moved. That person, okay, doesn't mean everybody will be like that. He was like that. Right? But he was really, it's a very interesting appointment and meeting. You treat a person, you treat everyone same. Right? That doesn't mean you will also do this, do that. You view them equal. Everybody equal. Remember, all of us view based on what our priority in life is. Only two priorities are there in life: A or B. Wherever you are, whatever you do. We all think sometimes few places I am spiritual, few places I am materialistic. Sometimes I am materialistic, sometimes I am spiritual. To those people, this advice. You're all with me? To whom he is speaking? Krishna is defining so beautifully to whom he is addressing all this now. But those who worship me also, they have that also, they have this also. That sort of a personalities. Those who attempt to follow world and God, to those people, of those people, what are they supposed to do? The highest. In that group, the highest person, the peak, is the person who is renouncing all actions in me. In that group, remember. Right? So, Arjuna, you are asking me, is form worship better or formless worship better? The point is not form worship or formless worship. Why? Because your focus itself is the wrong end. The point is not form or formless. The point is the manner and the worshipper, the methodology and the path and the traveler. The critical dimension here is the path and the traveler. So he is defining the path now. He says the path is what? Renouncing all actions, me. Which means performing all actions for the sake of realization. Every action that you perform, you ask this one question: is it taking me one step closer to that or not? If it is taking me closer to God, perform. If it is not taking me closer to God, drop it, no matter what it is. That's called renouncing all actions in me. When will you do that? Only when you consider me as supreme. Right? Only when you take God as the high priority. When you are not having God as high priority, then renouncing all actions in me is not possible. Right? That will not happen. So he says, regarding me as supreme. Yes.
So if I am considering God as supreme, then there is no two masters. Then how will it come under this category?
No. His general attitude is that particular effort when he is putting in, he is
Confused.
feeding here. See, I am running up and down. So when I'm running up and down, he's asking now what to do. We say feed there. Try to pull yourself as close as possible. Please try to understand that this is superior. This is the high priority. This is where the solution is. With all this education and understanding, effort, what is he going to do? He's going to remind within himself always that priority, which is higher, which is lower. The higher one is God, not world. God is superior than world. Remind yourself that. Keep reminding yourself that. Keep reminding, keep reminding, keep reminding. That is the highest effort that you can put in. That is the ideal one you have to do. So now what he is giving here is ideal effort. Even though he is addressing whom? He is addressing the audience who are the student who is running up and down. He is struggling between two. Sometimes he is appearing to himself as spiritual. Sometimes he is appearing to himself as materialistic. Sometimes the spiritual demands are overtaking, sir. Sometimes the material demands are overtaking, sir. To such a person, Krishna says, first understand what is you are supposed to do. Then apply to yourself. When you are applying to yourself, verse 8 onwards, it will start. That's why we have kept these two verses separately. 6 and 7 separate. But in the beginning itself, he is indicating something by the word two. If the two is not there, we will be assuming this is spoken with reference to whom? Formless worshipper. Because he is talking about formless worshipper, no? Previous. Oh, greater is the difficulty. Since he is discussing about formless worshipper, we will be assuming that he is continuing that same line. By using the word but, those, when he is using these two, he is saying, that topic is over. I am moving into a different one. What is the difference now? The difference now he is coming to is, he is going to give pure theory now. Pure theory is 6 and 7. But the audience to whom he is giving the theory is he is confused as to be a form worshipper or formless worshipper. No, to be a worshipper or not. You see that? Arjuna is bringing up the situation of, I am a worshipper. Please tell me, should I worship this or that? Krishna goes one step. He says, first of all, you can be qualifying yourself to be a worshipper only when you have taken worship as your first priority. Have you? If you have not taken, listen to me now. So he dismisses that. He dismisses the form, then he dismisses even the formless worship, because he says form worship, formless worship is irrelevant. Worshipping is relevant. What is worshipped is not relevant. Worshipping is what is relevant now. There you need to know the total system. So he gives a bird's eye view here. What are you supposed to do? You should worship me. How you should worship me? Renouncing all actions in me. When can you do that? Only when you consider me as supreme. What is the proof that you have considered me as supreme? You will not have any other thought other than me. You will not have any other priority. That's what he says. Meditating single-pointedly, yoga. Meditating on me with single-pointed yoga. So if you are capable of focusing single pointedly on God, nothing else. To facilitate that single pointedness is where various techniques were given to make you understand that this is supreme, this is the highest priority, so much of knowledge is given. What is the meaning of renouncing all actions in me is what is taught to you as Karma Yoga. So, when he says renouncing all actions in me, Karma Yoga. Okay. Regarding me as supreme, Jnana Yoga. Meditating on me single pointedly is referring to bhakti, focus, concentration. So, what is he referring to, sir? Now, practicing karma, bhakti, jnana, in essence. Right? If you boil it down to your understanding, okay, in our language, we boil it down to our understanding. We take it as what? How are you to be spiritual? What is spiritual path? Worship means spiritual path, seeking. How are you supposed to seek? Through the practice of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Right? Yes.
So, Krishna is addressing this that worshipping is important, he said.
Yes.
So that thing comes, but Arjuna is asking the question whether Saguna Brahman or Nirguna Upasana, which one I should take? But both are worshipping only, isn't it?
No. The focus is on object of worship, which is better.
Okay.
Krishna says both are complex, both are difficult. Why both are difficult? Because of lack of preparation from your side, because of your body consciousness. Now, unless you qualify yourself, how you qualify yourself? That's what he is giving now.
These three paths.
Through standard. Now he is coming to the standard prescription. Right. 6 and 7 is a standard prescription. It is universal application. Whoever comes anywhere, anybody, where to give spiritual advice as to path, what am I supposed to do, sir? Na, you will be discussing only with reference to 6 and 7. You cannot talk anything more than that. No spiritual path in the world can be beyond 6 and 7. Right? Nothing. More than this, there is nothing actually. But then, in that, can you straight away take that and apply? Now, what Krishna is giving now is he is giving a map, city map. 6 and 7 is giving you a city map. Using that city map, what are you supposed to do? Locate where you are and decide the destination and then route. Go through this road. No, sir, this road is not possible. Then go through that road. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 also not chance. Close the book and move. Forget it. Beautiful system he gives there. Right. So now what Krishna is giving 6 and 7 is a map, city map. The beauty of the city map is it contains all the routes, but it will never give you a specific route. But you cannot get that specific route without a map. But map by itself is not going to decide where you have to go, how you have to go. No. But without a map, can you guide yourself? Not possible. 6 and 7 is the guidance. So what are you supposed to do, sir? Worship me. Those who are attempting to worship me, those who are interested in worshipping me, those who want to know how to worship me, now that me can be taken either difficult or greater difficult. That's your choice. I have told you already that. Right? Don't think worshipping me is easy. Okay. That's why he puts that fifth verse, very important verse. Now, 6, he gives this steps. He says, follow this, follow this, follow this. So, by doing all these things, performing all actions as worship, what is that? Karma Yoga. Then, regarding me as supreme, you should understand that as the highest. That comes through knowledge. Right? Then, through this attempting to focus comes through this practice of Bhakti Yoga. Indicated by this, meditating on me with single pointed yoga. Do those things. Then, 7, those minds that are set on me, by practicing all these things, what has happened? Their mind is fixated to me. Earlier, what was the condition? Oscillating. God, world, God, world, God, world, God, world. Through the practice of this, now what has happened? It is fixed to God. Right? Then I become erelong soon. Very soon, O Partha, the deliverer from the ocean of death-bound samsara. Then what happens? I become the reason for them to be released from the samsara, which means I release them from the samsara. In essence, that means you attain self-realization. So how you started? You started with oscillation, and then with your consistent effort of this practice of spiritual disciplines, karma, bhakti, jnanam appropriately, you have done this. Then you got fixated. Once you got fixated, then it is his responsibility. The river has merged into the ocean. What happens? Released from the sense of individuality, no longer limited, restricted, constricted individual anymore, it becomes the total. It loses individuality, gains totality. That's celebration. Easter celebration என்ன தான். It dies and bronze. What is dead, what is born? River is dead, oceanhood is born. That's why you are supposed to celebrate today, Easter. Adan he says, those whose minds. So how you started and where you end. So final destination here is what? Deliverance from samsara. And he qualifies that nature of that samsara as death-bound samsara. Death-bound means change. Constantly changing. Constantly changing is what? One day I'm happy, one day I'm sad, one day I'm this, one day I'm that. One day I feel secured, one day I feel so unsecured. One day I feel elated, one day I feel so dejected. These fluctuations. The fluctuations will not be there anymore. You will have that samatvam, equanimity, equalness you will achieve. That's the deliverance from samsara.